What is up, my friend? Welcome back to Kajabi Simplified. I'm so happy to have you back. And today we're going to be taking a look at my most successful course launch to date. I'm going to peel back the curtain on everything I did, kind of deciding on, what product to build, how I actually launched the product, and then I'll give you 3 core components that I believe should belong in every successful course launch to make it as profitable and successful as possible. And if you stick around to the very end, I want to give you something special, so stay tuned for that. All right, let's kind of dive in. Just to show you, I'm not, talking out of my rear. This is the course itself. It's called Piano Skills for the Composer and Songwriter. I'll talk a little bit about, how I came to that in a little bit. But you can see here that I basically have 2 different offers for this product here in Kajabi. And one of them is a silver version, which is $97. And then the other one was the gold version for $147. And in terms of the quantity sold, you'll see that the upper tier, the gold tier, sold 68 copies and the silver tier sold 6 copies. And this is just a little side note. It's really important when you're selling a product to have at least 2 different price tiers for the customer to choose from, so they can kind of decide what's the best fit for them if they've already decided that they want the course. All right, so the first core component, in my opinion, to every successful launch is having the right audience. And this kind of comes down to, building an audience, creating content marketing, all that good stuff. So if you take a look here at my channel, you can kind of see what my niche is personally. I do composition, I do orchestration, so I'm in the music niche, and I teach other musicians how to create music that sounds wonderful using virtual instruments, specifically orchestral instruments. Now, what most people, or what most composers don't realize is that, even though we have so much technology giving us these access to these virtual instruments, we need a specific way to get those sounds into our computer, right? Most of us are bedroom producers, right? So most composers will have what's called a MIDI controller, which is basically like an electric keyboard for them to play their parts into the computer and then get it laid out. The thing is, though, a lot of composers don't come from a piano background. A lot of them come from like a guitar background, from playing different instruments, maybe no instruments at all, but they still want to get composing. So it's a lot more difficult to get the parts in if you actually don't know how to play the keyboard. And that was kind of the inception behind the idea for my course, Piano Skills for Composers and Songwriters. So, I was uploading videos for the longest time. My channel is just over 4 years old now. And, I upload videos on how to write music and, how to make it sound great, how to use virtual instruments. But I started getting questions about how to actually play the piano. And I mentioned in some videos, I play classical piano. I was brought up as a pianist. And so people were starting to ask me, like, can you do some videos on playing the piano? And so, of course I obliged. And if you look here in terms of the playlists, I have a specific playlist dedicated to piano tutorials. And so you can see here, I have a whole bunch of piano videos, right? And so it was when I was starting to make these videos, I started to get the idea, well, if people are interested in this content and the response to these videos is pretty good, then maybe I could just create an entire course from this to give this student the A to Z finished system, to tell them or to teach them exactly how to go from the initial idea, in their head, the musical idea, and lay it out on the keyboard into the computer so that you can create beautiful music without having to use other methods of getting your ideas into the computer, like clicking the mouse and creating notes that way, or other things like that. So that was how the inception of the idea came along. And yeah, it was something that I worked on for a few months, and people seemed to really enjoy it. And then when I was coming up with it, the different modules, the different elements that I wanted inside, I kind of started to think about that start to finish process, right? Like, where would I take a student at the very beginning and where would I want them to end up? So I knew that the very beginning, the ideal student I would want is someone who is composing music, writing music, but they're just feeling stuck when it comes to playing out their ideas on the piano in a logical and smooth way, right? And so this is why I kind of started with the fundamentals, the basics, right? I kind of show you how to use the piano in its most basic form, how to use the pedal, how to read music, and then we go into specific playing foundations, how to play scales and chords and so on and so forth, and then how to apply those techniques into real pieces of music that are already published. So, put those skills into practice. And then this particular course has a spin. It's not just a piano course, but I'm also teaching you how to play by ear. So if you listen to music, how do you play that music into the keyboard really fast? So then there's a dedicated ear training module. And then finally, we apply our skills to composing and improvising on the piano. So it really is a start to finish course. And, I really wanted to make it that one-stop solution for the student. So that's kind of the building part, right? You want to outline your course just to make sure that it covers everything you want your student to know. Think from their perspective, right? What do you want them to be able to achieve after going through the course, after going through all the material? And you want to make it as streamlined and as smooth as possible. So that's kind of how I came to, these 5 different modules. But of course, your course may vary in terms of length and size, and depending on the niche, the approach that you take with the material. So that's the second component, coming up with the right product for the people, for your audience. So if step number 1 is creating the right audience, in this case, this product came as a byproduct of my original niche of composition and orchestration. People started to ask for piano tutorials, so I did those, and then this product was just that brainchild of, okay, what if I took those piano tutorials and really blew them up to a larger scale, right? So that's step number 2, is creating the perfect product based on the demand of your audience. And step number 3, finally, is to launch the product. But there's many ways to launch. I think one of the most effective is to make it short and sweet, have a very systematic approach of how to actually launch. And I personally like to launch over the course of 5 days. So basically Monday through Friday, and have one email a day with 3 emails on the last day, so Friday in this case. All right, so let me walk you through the launch emails that I basically put together for this launch. So here in Kajabi, you can see I had this broadcast email set up, and I kind of set the filters to the people who did not already own the product, which should have been everybody, right? And then has any of these tags completed CMC pitch, which is basically my flagship course. So I want this pitch to go to the people who have already gone through my initial email funnel and also do not own this piano course. So this was basically the bulk of my list, okay? Then then the subject line is "We're officially live." It's like a celebration announcement, a lot of fun. And then just a little more detail here, I'm saying piano skills for composers and songwriters is out, right? So it's like a declamatory celebration. So then here in the email, I give them a little bit of an overview of what the course is about. By the end of the course, you'll be able to do this, show them the benefits. And then you also want to have a scarcity element, right? At least one. So in this case, my scarcity element was the doors will close by Friday at midnight, right? So, to get people to make a decision for themselves, we always want to give them a small push. And in this case, I was like, okay, the doors will be open until this Friday, February 18th at 11:59 EST PM, right? And then, you can give them some links to check out the product there. So just making sure we share the products, share the product announcement, share the benefits, and then share the scarcity element. Email number 2 went out on Tuesday, right? So this first email was on Monday morning. Then this next email was on Tuesday morning. So same filters for who I'm sending it to. And then here, I'm actually sharing one of the bonuses that I will be including in the product. So it's a different spin on the product launch, right? But you're just sharing the additional value that they'll receive by being a part of this course. So my subject line here was the worst way to play the piano. And that is like a curiosity subject line. Like, what is the worst way to play the piano? Like, let's find out, right? So I'm like, oh, the problem is a lot of composers play patches and chords. So I'm telling them the problem, right? And you can come up with your own problem that you see, other people doing, ones that you think are actually detrimental, right? So you want to give them that sense of, oh, I don't want to do this. I want to avoid this, right? But anyway, I'm like, okay, the best way to play it is this. So I give them the solution, and then I'm saying, okay, if you want to dive in even further into this concept, this is actually one of the videos that I cover on this topic, but it's included as a bonus inside this piano course that I'm launching. So if you want access to this tip, then join the course and you will receive this bonus among others as well. Usually you want to have multiple bonuses. And so then again, you just mentioned that, and you can also have the scarcity element at the end if you want to, but in this case, I decided not to have it. So that was email number 2 on Tuesday. Email number 3 was where I shared some testimonials. So people had already started joining the course and they were already writing some great reviews for me. So I basically just screenshotted a bunch of them and I shared them in the email. So I just said, people are loving this, join our family. Like, you can have your own take on the emails, of course, and the subject lines and all that, but I just shared a bunch of them here. And then again, I remind them of the scarcity element just to share that, I really want you to take action. I know this will really help you. So if you are serious about your own progress, this is the best time to join. So I'll say, because this is the opening launch, this is the best deal of 147 for everything plus the bonuses, right? And then if I reopen the doors in the future, there's no guarantee the price will remain this low. So I'm actually using two scarcity elements here. The open and close system, right? Sharing that the course will be closed, but also the price will be going up the next time. And this is totally true. It's not like I'm lying about this. Like, this is legitimately true what I'm doing. I will be closing the doors at the end of this week, and I will be raising the price next time. So you have to get it now if you want the best deal, right? And then at the very end, for a PS, I just say, oh, if you have any questions, just let me know, right? I want to make it as open and inviting as possible. So that was email number 3. Then email 4 is where I do some Q&A. So frequently asked questions, I will answer them in this email. Is this really for you? And then I answer some questions. So the bold ones are all the questions, right? And then again, scarcity element at the bottom, closing the doors, and then giving them a link to sign up. Okay, now Friday, the last day, whatever day you decide to end your launch on, is the most important, because here you're going to send 3 emails. And these are like last reminder emails, right? You're really giving them a chance, one more chance to join, right? And if people don't want to buy, fine, they can unsubscribe, they can just ignore the emails, totally fine. But you want to make sure you're doing your service, doing your part of sharing this material with your people so that they can really benefit from what you're teaching, right? And then in these emails is where I like to put in a countdown timer. So we talked about in the first video, the Kajabi overview, how you can insert countdown timers into your emails. And we do this by setting up an event in Kajabi events. So in this case, I was like, okay, I made the event called, Piano Skills Course Closing. And I was like, okay, it's going to close Friday at midnight. And so I put a countdown timer here, which then counted down to that event called Piano Skills is closing at midnight, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's just a friendly reminder, that it's closing tonight, and this is what you will learn, and then you can join. So that's this was sent on Friday morning around 9-10 a.m. The second one I send at around 2 to 3 p.m. So around the middle of the day in America, in Canada. And so I say, just another benefit that they can expect from joining the course, give them the skills to join, the links to join, and then again, the countdown timer. So this is again, the midday email. And then finally on the last day, the last hour actually, subject says 1 hour left, join before the doors close. And I sent this at 11 p.m., right? So just before midnight, and I tell them this is your last chance to join, and there's the countdown timer. So of course, when the launch was live, the timer was counting all the way down to 0. This all combined, right? So just to recap those core components, number 1 is building the right audience. And this is where we talk about content marketing, putting yourself out there, building a brand. This is all very important to build that audience who are hungry for what you have to offer. So if you have the right audience, if you have the right product, right? If you're building what your people actually want, and then if you have the right promotion strategy, which is the third core component, then you are pretty much guaranteed to make good money from your launch. Of course, this will this will depend on the size of your email list, on the size of your audience. At the time of this recording, I had about 5,000 or so people on my list. And so, I think it was 68 people went for the higher version and 6 went for the lower. So, in the 70s, mid 70s, which was actually higher than the conversion rate that I was expecting for the course. So that was definitely a plus for me. But yeah, if you have those core components, you're pretty much guaranteed to have a successful launch. And I hope that all makes sense. If you have any questions about it, let me know in a comment below. This is obviously a lot of fun to talk about because you can literally be doing something else, and people will be, purchasing your course if you've done a good job doing the selling, if you're doing, if you build the course well, and you're sharing it publicly, people will respond to it. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's very hands-off once you get everything set up properly. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. If you're interested in trying out Kajabi, Kajabi just makes this entire process so simple because everything is integrated, right? Like these emails I showed you, these are all contained within their email editor. All within the marketing tab. You can do everything here. And then they have those events and those forms, which allowed me to put in those countdown timers, right? Everything is just so slick. And everything, because it's all connected, you don't have to use outside resources like MailChimp, ConvertKit, or landing page softwares or anything like that. You can do everything inside of Kajabi and it's all connected. So if you want to set up your own launches and give Kajabi a try, I do want to give you an extended 30-day free trial. Basically, they offer you a 14-day free trial, so 2 weeks to get things set up. But if you use my affiliate link down in the description box below, you will get double that free trial, so a full 30 days. And in addition to that, I want to give you 2 mini courses for free when you sign up. So the first one you'll receive instantly when you sign up with a link, and it's basically taking you through how to use Kajabi from start to finish and how you can get set up very, very quickly so you get the maximum use out of your trial. And the second one you'll receive if you become a paying member of Kajabi, and that is my content marketing approach and how you can basically build the content that attracts your people, builds the audience, and then results in potential leads for you to sell your products to and deliver value on a consistent basis. These are very important things to consider, because to build a successful business, you really need a great audience, a loyal audience, and then you need those right products to sell to those people, And so we'll kind of walk through that in this second mini course. And yeah, it doesn't cost you anything extra to use my link, but part of your payment will come back to support me. And so I really appreciate that. There's no obligation, but it is very appreciated if you do use my link. And if you're interested in checking out Kajabi as a whole, maybe you're using Kajabi, but you want to know kind of what's involved before you sign up, then definitely check out my video going over Kajabi, and it will show you all the different elements that are included within Kajabi, what you can expect when you sign up, and how to kind of navigate the whole website. So I'll see you in that video. Thanks a lot.